whatever time that you might have in your own country. Good evening, good afternoon, and good morning. It is my privilege to welcome each and everyone to the 117th Free International Webinar brought to you by the Institute of Global Professionals. Thank you for joining us for tonight's webinar. My name is Gafor M. Panimbang, an assistant professor from Adjong Memorial Polytechnic State College here in Mindanao, Philippines. And I'm so delighted to be your host for tonight's webinar. All right. But before I get started, allow me to share some few facts about the Institute of Global Professionals, or IGP, for the sake of those attendees tonight who just came in and who just registered. Well, the Institute of Global Professionals, or IGP, is a globally recognized professional international organization that serves students and community resources by providing a holistic social work and educational interventions or services with the purpose of generating and producing a top caliber, proficient, and skilled today's young generations by means of conducting a series of webinars like this, that like what we are doing right now, and also trainings, both offline and online, with the purpose of enhancing their skills and their potentials. True to its mantra, fit your skills, IGP's mission is to empower people by enhancing their skills through learning beyond school. All right? And also, just a little housekeeping. Our live audience tonight will have a chance to ask questions from our speakers' presentations. So all you have to do, guys, is you simply type your questions on the comment section below, and we'll be collecting those questions, and we have to bring them up at the end part of this webinar. Your question will be projected to the screen so that it would be made visible to our speakers, and then they would have a chance to read your questions and provide answers whenever possible. And also, we will be providing certificate of participation to all of those active participants. When we say active participants, we are actually referring those attendees who actually managed to pay attention closely to the speaker's presentation right from the start till the end of the speaker's presentation. All right. And for you to get your certificate, we will announce that later on as we go along with our webinar for tonight. All right. And also, please do watch out for the conduct of online quiz competition. We encourage everyone to please do participate in that quiz competition, and IGP will be awarding a certificate of recognition for those participants who can give the most number of correct answers during the quiz competition, and that will be take place at the end of this webinar. So all you have to do, guys, is you simply sit back, relax, listen carefully to those speakers' presentation, because all those questions will be coming from the speaker's presentation. All right? And then the question will be projected on the screen. So upon seeing those questions, and immediately provide the correct answers. All right? And then submit your answers, because it will be processed electronically by the Slido, if I'm not mistaken. All right. And then also, we would like to ask your support, guys, by promoting this webinar to your FB page or any social media where you belong. All right. And you can also invite your friends by tagging their names on the comment section below, so that they would also have a chance to participate in this webinar, and also for them to have a chance to be part of our growing community group. All right, that's the IGP. And then also, we would appreciate if you could share your thoughts and comments on the section below. Just tell something, anything, how you feel about the conduct of our webinar for tonight. All right. So, without further ado, let's get started. All right. So, tonight we are presenting a webinar on teaching language or teaching English as a foreign or second language. And I think this particular topic is timely and relevant, especially to all of those professionals who would take ESL or EFL as their second career. So in this particular webinar, you can also like prepare your questions on what are the requirements for becoming a EFL or ESL teacher. What are the benefits that are in store for becoming an ESL teacher? And also the darker side of it. What are the challenges that actually go with it in becoming a ESL or EFL teacher? And that we can learn from our invited resource speakers all the way from Pakistan and Indonesia as well. So we managed to invite one speaker from Pakistan and two speakers from Indonesia to share their thoughts and ideas on our topic for tonight, and that is teaching language or teaching English as foreign or second language. So without further ado, all right. Let's turn the time over to our first speaker for tonight's webinar. So, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce to you our first speaker for tonight's webinar. Our first speaker is actually one of the lecturers in Sekolah Tinggi Ilmu Bahasa Arab or STIBA, Darul Ulum Baniwanyar Pamekasan, Indonesia. He has been teaching since 2018. He is actually a researcher and a lecturer of education. So, ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming our first speaker for tonight's webinar, no other than Sir Nasrullah. Sir,
Thank you so much for Mr. Gafur for that time. Okay, the
Sir
first
Nasrullah,
time. Okay, did you hear me, sir? Do you hear me? Hello?
okay. I think Sir Nasrullah is now ready,
Hello?
but he hasn't yet appeared on the screen. Okay, there you go. So, Sir Nasrullah, you're there. Okay.
Yeah.
We're so glad to have you with us and share your thoughts and ideas about tonight's webinar topic. Sir, welcome to IGP's webinar.
Okay. The first time I would like to thanks about change our opportunity for me to join this international conference, and I would like to thanks a lot because this is the first time for me to join in webinar. So let's talk about the topics today. And hello everyone. The first topic today is about how children learn to use their first language. But before we are going to discuss before I explain about the topics today, I would like to introduce myself. My name is Nasrullah. I'm from in Pamekasan, East Java. My birthday, 32 years old, and my institution, Stiba Darul Ulum Pamekasan. Uh, the topics today will be discussed about the background of the study, and then basic stage of language learning, and the third is about the language development. Fourth, about the future of child language acquisition. Five, discussion, and the last conclusion. Why I choose this topic? I think this topic is very interesting for me because how do children learn language? How uh, children learn about first language, and what did And how can do that about the language? For the first time in background,
Hello.
uh, hello, yeah,
Yeah, Sir Nasrullah, I think you have to share your PPT.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
okay,
Share
okay.
your
We
screen.
have a prepared presentation, sir.
Sorry,
Yes.
sorry.
Do you mind sharing with us? So you do have one. Okay.
Okay,
Okay. Oh, there you go.
okay,
So you
okay,
have your
okay,
prepared presentation. All right. Okay, so you're good to go.
okay. The topic
That's
today
great.
is about how children learn to use their first language. There are six topics, subtitle of this topic. The first one is about the background of the study. Second is about basic stage of language learning. Third is about the language development. Fourth is about futuring of child language acquisition. Fifth is about discussion, and the last about conclusion. Uh, uh, as I say in opening this this day, this presentation, learning a language or learning first language or learning fourth language is an exceptional accomplishment for everybody. Yet everyone complete this process and does so successfully at least one is in their life. Uh, I start this study about how the children learn about language. As we know that everyone complete the process that successfully and at least once in their life. Learning a language based on a statement of Fromkin in 1983. He said that children do not wake up one morning with a fully formed grammar in their heads or with all the rules of social and communicative in course. It's mean that the language is acquired by the stage, and children need a step by step to learn about language. Uh, it suggested every successive stage more closely near to grammar and the adult language. It meant that the children need a process. In the other statement, according to Chomsky in Steinberg in 23, uh, humans are born with a mind that contain innate knowledge concerning a number of different areas. One such area or faculty of the mind concerns language. Chomsky has called the innate language knowledge LED, language acquisition device. Linguists, or those researchers who devote their lives and thought to studying the intricacies and nuances of language, called the learning process. Doubtless the greatest intellectual feat any one of us is ever required to perform. Yet this achievement is often taken completely for granted. For non-linguists, the magnitude of this accomplishment only become apparent when we step back and think of everything that goes into the first few faltering steps we take toward language. In fact, children do not acquire the first language as a set of rules about how to put word in language, but they acquire, they learn how to use language to describe, manipulate, explore the world around them, to communicate with other and express their emotion or describing something. It's about the introduction of this study. The next to support our studies, or to support this research, we have taken theories from several experts. The first stage is about the basic stage of learning language, and the second is about the language development, And the last is about futures of child language acquisition. In basic stage of language learning, there are three stages by Gleason in 1998. The first stage is about the learning sound. It starts from the baby is born until 6 months. The second stage is about the learning word. It starts from 8 months until 8 months. And the last stage is about learning sentences. It starts from 24 months until uh, 38 months or beyond 3 years. In the first stage or learning sounds, there are three stages. It means that in the first stage, when babies are born, they can make and hear all the sounds in all the language in the world. That's about 150 sound in about 6,500 languages. However, no language use all 150 sounds. The sounds a language uses are called phonemes, and English has about 44. Some language use more and more use fewer. In this stage, babies learn which phonemes belong to the language they are learning and ignore. The ability to recognize and produce the sound is called phoneme awareness, which is important for children learning to read. In the second stage, our stage two is about the learning word. Start from 8 months until 18 months, and at this stage, children essentially learn how the sound in a language together to make meaning. For example, they learn that sound or crying, uh, revert to the, being the cuddles and feed them like mommy. That is a significant step because everything we say is really just a stream of sounds. To make sense of those sounds, a child must be able to recognize where one word ends and another one begins. They are called word boundaries. It's not exactly word, uh, though the children are learning. What children are actually learning are morphemes, which may or may not be words. That's really not as confusing as it sounds. A morpheme is just a sound or sounds that have a meaning, like the word mommy. The word mummies, however, have two morphemes, mommy and s. A children at this stage can recognize that the s mean more than one, and will know that when the sound is added to other word, it means that the same thing more than one. In basic stage, in stage three, learning sentences do during this stage, children learn how to create sentences. That means they can put words in the correct order. For example, they learn that in English way, we say I want a cookie and I want a chocolate cookie, not want I a cookie or I want cookie chocolate. Children also learn the difference between grammatical correctness and meaning. Noam Chomsky created an example of this difference in the sentences colorless green ideas sleep furiously. Children will know that although the sentence is grammatical correct, it doesn't make sense. They know that green is a color and cannot therefore be colorless. The next material is the next review of this studies about the language development. Language develops at different rates in different children, but most children follow this pattern. The first one is birth. It starts when baby is born until 3 months. And the second is 4 and 6 months. The third is 8 months. The 12 months, next 18 months, next stage 24 months, and last is 30 until 30, 60 months. In a birth stage, when babies are born, they can already respond the rhythm of language. They can recognize stress, pitch, and rise and fall of pitch. The second stage, 4 and 6 months, as early as 4 months, infants can distinguish between language sounds and other noise, like the difference between a spoken word and a clap. Big 6 months, by 6 months, babies have begun to be able to bibble and coo, and that is the first sign that the baby is learning language. Babies are now capable of making all the sounds in all the languages of the world, but by the time they are a year old, they will have dropped the sounds that are not part of the language they are learning. The next step or the next stage is in each month. In this stage or in this step, babies can recognize group of sounds and can distinguish one group of sounds from another. They can tell where one group ends and another begins. That is word boundary recognition. Although they recognize the sound groups of words, they may not know what the word means. The next step in 12 months is at this point, children are able to attach meaning to word. And once they can do that, they can begin to build a vocabulary. They begin to mimic new words they hear, and by the time they are 12 months old, will have a vocabulary of around 50 words. Next stage in 18 months is in order to communicate. Children must know how to use the word they are learning. In this stage of language development, children are able to recognize the difference between nouns and verbs. Generally, the first words in child vocabulary are noun. Next step in 20 and 24 months, uh, at this stage, children have begun to recognize more than nouns and verbs and understand basic sentence structure. They can use pronoun, for example, and now know the right order of words in a sentence and can create simple sentences like me cookie, which mean may I have a cookie. The last stage or the last step is about the 30 and 36 months. By this stage, about 90% of what children say is grammatical correct. The mistakes they make are usually mistakes like adding ed to irregular verb to form the past tense. For example, they may say I fallen down instead of I fell down. They have learned the grammatical rule to form the past tense by adding ed to a verb, but have not yet learned the exception to the rules. Next, next stage or about the future of child language acquisition. Children will continue to try to develop the ability to speak, and every day will be more complex. Children will indirectly resemble adult talking before around the age of 11 years. That's when children are able to use what are called although type of sentences. Those are sentences that show a concession. Even though the man was tired, he kept working. Young children would be like to say the man was tired, but he kept working. Verbally, give a children often go through stage faster than older children. Some pass through the stage very quickly that they seem to skip right over some of them. It is not unusual for a child to bibble and coo and then become relative silent. At this age, they do not mimicking words, and by age two, they are not using even simple sentences. They may say mama and dada and few other words, but no more. Then suddenly, at 24 until 28 months, the children begin speaking incomplete, grammatical correct sentences like the 3 years old. Other verbally gifted kids may be using sentences like me cookie at age one, and some 6-year-old gift kids are using sentences like I still love my Grammy even though she doesn't know how to use the computer. The advanced language development of gift kids may be one of the reasons that some of them are able to learn how to read before they turn 5 or even before they turn 3. The next chapter or the number four, the fourth discussion today, or the fourth explain about this material is about the discussion. I make a small research. I make a small research to know how the children learn to use language. I try to collect data on how parents interact with the children. I try examine the very early stage of language acquisition. The sample of this small research is named Asmi. She is a girl. She is my cousin. Asmi was a child of my family in Pamekasan, whose mother name is Zuyina. All the data was transcribed from utterance when I was observing Asmi. The utterance from were translated into Bahasa Indonesia and merged with the notes. The I start 5 season. I conducted the 5 season of Asmi and her mother interaction. Fill 20 utterance process word, and each season has been divided into logical episode. This data was indicate the way how Asmi learn how to use language and language acquisition, and is still today the only available data in this area covering an Indonesia language. For example, considering for following episode between Asmi and her mother in these examples, compare to what is available in the original. I have used a slight simpler way on transcribing the utterance production segment. From this discussion, I start from episode one. In this episode, I want to know about the answering or the baby's reaction about the answering with action or miming. In this episode, if babies want to say something, they use their body language. As Miss Mother shows her illustration of feel hungry, and then as me said, mom, like that, it means she want to eat. Uh, at the time, parents help their children learn initially by pointing and using the name of the thing. They then by using onomatopoeic or baby talk version of word, for example, like mom to use indicate food or eating, or gook for a dog. To relate the situation or item on hand and later connecting this baby talk form about actual names of the situation or item. The next episode is to know about how the admiration uh, is start from 16 until 20 months. In this stage, Asmi took a bath by his mother. Mother said mana sabunnya in bahasa Indonesia. and translate English. Did you see the soaps? And then ask me uh, use their body language to point the soap, and then uh, her mother so to ask me about rub on the arm by water. As Asmi acquires more language, she starts to express desire, wants, and intention. She also learns to find out more about the world around her. And the third episode uh, is about the finding out about the state of the world. It start from 20 until 24 months. In this episode, the babies will say something, but the word is imperfect word or error pronunciation. When Asmi went to her mother and she wants something, uh, Asmi will say in Indonesian language, haus dah mi cucu atau haus bunda mau minum susu. It means that Asmi is 30 or 30 mom, I want to drink atau or I want to drink a milk. Parents also explicitly correct mistakes or wrong use of names or label. However, correction are provided only when the child has attained a certain cognitive stage. Prior to that, a parent just deny the child's mistakes, and that too only indirectly. Those parents constantly provide additional information that help children digest and assimilate what they say. Consider the following interaction to see how children could acquire language behavior tokens like your hand and language behavior schema for sentences like shake your hands. And the fourth episode is to know about the ASME reaction is about learning about objective. Its stage or its episode start from 24 until 28 months. Uh, at the time, the observer bring a camera, and then Asmi looks a camera digital the observer is using, and then Asmi asks apa itu dalam bahasa Indonesia. What is that? Observer say camera, but Asmi answering ameya, not word or error pronunciation. And then observer said photo, and Asmi said what ocho atau take a picture. In other studies, it has been not the parent when asking question typically provide the answer as well as in what in the color of this pencil. Is it red or black? This shows the child what question go with what answers, and analogously, what kind of questions go with what kind of answers. In the last episode or episode 5 is to know about the learning the six schema. Asmi was sitting with his mother, and mother asked her to applause atau dalam bahasa or Indonesian language tepuk tangan. And let's applause again. Assumed that Asmi has learned what shaking is about because of explicitly action shown by her parents. The second statement above shows that you can apply the action of applause and an object hand. So, for instance, you can substitute leg or hand for hand and still make sense, but you cannot say standing applause. As you add more language behavior to can add schema, we can see how the child can learn to understand and say something like bring a newspaper or bring a newspaper to read. The episode above have explored several examples in the ASME corpus to demonstrated specific language behavioral learning and has also developed models of how children learn interrogative and negation. There are many other questions we have not answered about how children acquire to the schemas and tokens and how they interpret them and how they connect nonverbal input with such schema and token. The interested reader will find more detail in the other reference and the other article. And the conclusion of this study, I start with the how children acquire language and list future of child language acquisition. The research outlined ideas suggesting children acquire language computational modeling framework. Okay, I think that's all our explanation. I hope you got something uh, in my explanation. And the last I say, Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's Sir Nasrullah MPD from Indonesia. Sir, on behalf of IGP, we would like to extend our sincerest gratitude for that very wonderful presentation. And you know what, sir,
Thank
your
you.
discussion on you actually refresh our memory on the stages of language learning among our children, right? It started
Mm-mm.
with learning from sound, and then followed by learning
That's right.
of yes, learning from words, and then eventually learning from sentences. And that's the transition. Until
Yeah.
such time, the children are now learning to construct sentences, paragraphs, and they can now able to speak
That's
uh,
right.
on their own. And you know what? So you have covered a lot. I mean, the essential elements of the stages of language learning among our children. And this is so highly recommended for all of our professionals out there. I mean, our live
Mm-mm.
audience who are teachers, especially among those teachers who are actually handling kindergarten. I mean
Mm.
the small children. All
Yes,
right.
in kindergarten.
Yes, for them to get to know better and understand the nature and dynamics of the small children, especially in their
Mm-mm.
transition of learning. Sir, please accept our appreciation for such a commendable job. All right. And
Okay.
I once again would like to thank you for that nice presentation. And we
You're
hope to
welcome.
get a chance to hear you again with the same kind of presentation in the future.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
all right.
All
Okay.
right.
So, can you stay behind at the end of the seminar for the question and answer portion, sir?
Baden, can you repeat again?
Uh, can you stay behind at the end of the seminar for the question and answer portion segment?
Okay. Okay.
We'll be having a question and answer portion, meaning we have to give a chance to our live audience to ask questions regarding your presentation, because I do hope so. We will be flooded with questions from our live audience because your topic is so relatable. Where everyone
Mm-mm.
is, uh, everyone can so relate because everyone has a children. I guess most of
Okay.
our attendants are professionals, especially in the field of education, where they are actually dealing with lots of children, especially small
Okay.
children. All right.
Small.
Again,
All right.
sir, thank you so much for that wonderful
Uh,
presentation.
Thanks a lot. You're welcome.
Thank you. Okay, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Moving right along, it's time for us to call our second speaker for tonight's webinar. But before that, let me check first if our second speaker is now ready for her presentation, because before the webinar starts, our second speaker actually is having a problem with internet connectivity. And so let me just check if she's now ready for her presentation. Okay. Okay. Uh, Let me check first her audio, and let's try to see if she can project herself on the screen, because if he can do so, and then that's a signal that she is ready for her presentation. In the event that our second speaker is not yet ready while she's busy fixing her internet connectivity, our third speaker will take her place. Okay, so I can. Okay. Hello, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay. So before you present your slides, allow me first to introduce you, okay, to our live audience. All right. Okay.
Thank
So,
you.
ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Our second speaker actually is a research scholar at Lahori College for Women University and serving as a visiting lecturer in University of Education, and also serving in Allama Iqbal Open University as a workshop resource person. She is also a member of EduCloud Committee as a regional officer. She's pretty much involved in writing different articles and published an authentic research on adolescent stress. Currently, our third speaker is working with YWADAP, or YWADAP, in its mission of eradicating drug abuse among the youth. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate in having us here, Ma'am Ikra Akram. All right. Oh, come on. Ma'am, can you hear me? I think you haven't yet fixed your internet connectivity. You sounds like a robot. You're getting choppy. Oh, come on. Hello, ma'am. Uh, Hello, ma'am Ikra. Sorry to interrupt you, but I think you're getting choppy. Can you guys let me know if you can hear our second speaker clearly? Okay. Hello. Oh, come on. This is terrible. Okay, I think we have to call back earlier our second speaker, for still she is having a problem with internet connectivity. All right. Okay, so for the meantime, you can actually prepare your questions. I'm referring to our live audience. You can just prepare your questions and then keep on typing them on the comment section below, especially on our first presentation by our first speaker. And before we actually proceed with the introduction of our second speaker, again, we would like to remind everyone, our live audience, to please show us your support by promoting this page on your social media groups, and also by inviting your friends okay, by tagging their names on the comment section below so that they would also get a chance to be one of our participants and be part of our growing community groups globally. All right. So at this juncture, ladies and gentlemen, I think our third speaker will take the place of our second speaker for the meantime. Our second speaker is still busy fixing her internet issues. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, our second speaker is a senior lecturer at University or Universitas PGRI Ronggolawe, Tuban, Indonesia. She has been teaching English for about 30 years. She got her doctorate degree from State University of Surabaya in the year 2019. She has been writing several articles related to linguistics and language teaching and learning, metacognitive strategies in writing and speaking skills, and was able to present them to both international and national conferences. She is also a certified reviewer in several journals in Indonesia. Her main research interests include applied linguistics, psycholinguistics, English teaching method, and language learning strategies. At present, she is the head of the Office of International Affairs at the institution where she is currently connected, and that is Universitas PGRI Ronggolawe, Tuban, Indonesia. Ladies and gentlemen, we are very fortunate in having us here Dr. Cristina Inocente Tumiar Pangabian, NPD. Ma'am,
Thank, thank you,
welcome to
sir.
RGP's webinar.
Thank you. The title
It's my
of
pleasure.
have you seen my slide? Hello?
I see. We see already your,
Okay.
yes, we are now seeing on the screen your slides.
Okay, thank you.
You're
The
good.
title
Yes,
of
you're doing good.
my article is Enhancing EFL Student Academic Writing Skill Through Metacognitive Strategy Awareness. Okay. If you see this picture, yeah, the first one, there is a question mark here. Yeah. So usually it symbolizes problems, yeah. And the second picture, yeah, showing the thinking process, and then got ideas on the third picture. So I hope from my presentation, audience will get ideas about this topic. Okay. Why academic writing skill is important? Yeah. In my context, I teach at university students who have a lot of tasks writing paper. Yeah, considering as academic writing. Yeah. So they have to write many papers for every courses. Yeah. So this is an important skill for the students. Yeah. However, students usually find problems, yeah, in writing, academic writing. Yeah, it is considered as a challenging task. Yeah. So from this part, I will try to show the ways through metacognitive strategy. Yeah, because this strategy is important for students so they can enhance their writing, especially here for students at university in their academic writing skills. Okay. Yeah, what is academic writing skill? This is a specific, what is it? A specific writing, yeah, for students at university. Yeah, for example, students usually at university have to write essay, research paper, research proposal, thesis, and many kinds of academic writing form that they have to write. Yeah, this writing skill, yeah, this kind of writing is considered as specific form. So students often find difficulties in writing, yeah, because this kind of academic writing have specific forms in language, specific structure and purpose. Yeah, that's according to Richard and Miller. The other ones, Bailey stated that students should also consider in their academic writing about the style referencing, the organizations of their writing. Meanwhile, Swales and Pick mention about that writers should consider the audience, the purpose, the organization, style, flow, and presentations in their writing. Yeah. At the beginning, I mentioned that the students usually have problems in their writing. Yeah. For example, in some research, they mention about students' difficulties in some part of their writing process. Yeah. For example, in selecting a topic, yeah, they usually are confused to choose what the suitable topic for them to select. Yeah, they usually also have some problems in reviewing the literature. Yeah, my student also have the same experience. Yeah. Meanwhile, other like Sia and Luxin mentioned about choosing a research topic. Yeah, so it is similar. Yeah. The other problem, planning a research proposal, for example, yeah, comprehending the nature of the thesis proposal and reviewing related literature. So similar problems, yeah. Mansisi 2015 mentioning about formulating a topic. Yeah, after selecting a topic, they get problems in formulating a topic. Yeah, and then stating the problems. Yeah, so they have problems in stating the problems they want to write on their research proposal. Identifying the gap. This is usually the big problem for my students. Yeah, and using appropriate methodology. Yeah, yeah. On my research, I found that the student also mentioned about choosing the topic, yeah, writing the background of the study, writing related literature, yeah, finding the right research method. Yeah. Similarly, Kasim mentioned the same, yeah, choosing a topic, lack of appropriate knowledge of methodology, finding related literature, lack of understanding of the subject matter, lack of time, because students need to spend a lot of time, yeah, in writing a proposal, in writing a research paper, yeah, and they also need research guiding. Meanwhile, Javed mentioned also similarly, yeah, selecting a research topic, writing introduction, writing literature review, format of research paper. Yeah, so these are problems, yeah, that the student experience during writing research proposal or research paper. So based on the problems, yeah, I offer metacognitive strategies. Yeah, what is in simple one, metacognitive strategies is strategies learner apply to coordinate their own learning process. So this is the simple form of metacognitive strategies. Yeah, because metacognitive strategies have important roles for the students during the process of their writing. Yeah, according to O'Malley, metacognitive strategies is considered as higher order executive skill that may entail planning for, monitoring, or evaluating the success of a learning activity. The other person say that metacognitive strategies make learner become more independent, autonomous, capable, and efficient. Yeah. Then, beside that, successful learner use metacognitive strategies. Yeah. So from many research, yeah, they found that successful learner use metacognitive strategies in the 4 language skill. Yeah. Review mentioned that metacognitive strategies empower language learning. So metacognitive strategies is very important for the students to realize their roles. Okay, metacognitive strategies can be derived from Flavel, 1979, and then Oxford divide this into metacognitive knowledge and metacognitive strategies or metacognitive regulation. Based on that, metacognitive strategies and writing skill can be related, yeah, because when writing skill, student of course need to plan, yeah, monitor and evaluate their writing, yeah. Also in writing process, there are similar ways, yeah, planning, drafting, revising in the writing process. Okay. Now we come to the need of metacognitive strategies awareness for the students in able to write better in writing their academic writing. Yeah, positive impact on metacognitive strategies awareness mentioned by some scholars about that metacognitive strategy awareness, for example, through strategy training, show effective result. Through strategy training, the students improve, for example, for speaking skill, it improves their oral proficiency, yeah, improves their learning outcome in many courses, yeah, they have to do, yeah. Besides that, in related to my topic, yes, metacognitive strategy awareness reveal the students' thinking process in the process of writing. So teachers can reveal, yeah, from the students' thinking process, yeah, through ways of metacognitive strategy. Yeah, for example, students can be asked to write a diary, yeah, to reflect their writing process. Metacognitive strategies awareness through metacognitive strategy based writing improves students' writing skill in various aspects. So this metacognitive strategy awareness will make the students improve their writing, yeah, and cultivates learning autonomy. So there are many positive aspects from metacognitive strategy awareness. Okay, based on that positive aspect of metacognitive strategies, I offer how to apply this into, for example, in writing a research paper. Yeah, it can be applied in any kind of academic writing. First, we need as teacher or lecturers prepare the students with the tasks. Yeah. This is some that we can apply. The first one, giving students information about metacognitive strategies. So we can give them some information about what metacognitive strategy, what metacognitive strategy consists of. Yeah. So some information about that. After that, we can give students practice recognizing what they don't understand. Yeah. So we can give the students opportunity to ask questions about part of metacognitive strategies that they don't understand, and we can give them example from their questions. Providing opportunities to reflect on the tasks. Yeah, we can also provide the students opportunities to reflect on the tasks. Yeah, whether the task is very difficult, and then what are the problems? Yeah, they can mention their problems on the part of writing a research proposal, on the part of writing a research paper. What part of this writing they still have problems? Having students keep learning journals, yeah, so they can have journals, yeah, some notes to report the writing process from the beginning. Yeah, so they can relate to that whether the problem still occur or not. If still occur, they can find solution for that. Giving student opportunity to increase their monitoring skills. Yeah, while writing, for example, students can monitor the problems. Yeah, maybe they becomes stuck. Yeah, with how to write background, for example, in their writing paper. Yeah, or while they are writing, they confused with something. Yeah, that's they monitor their activity. Okay, after that, we can prepare the student practice metacognitive strategies. The first, centering. Yeah. In this part, there are some steps that the student can follow. The first one, student prepare themselves with some knowledge of the task, paying attention to the teacher's explanations of the task. So the student need to pay attention to understand the task that will be given to them. The teacher facilitate the student with a sample of a research paper. The teacher asks the student to identify the structure in the sample. Yeah, we can also explain the part, for example, in a research paper, and the student try to identify the similar structure in another sample. The next, the teacher asks students to find 2 or 3 articles related to a certain topic and ask students to identify the structure. Yeah. So from several articles they study, they will find patterns. They will find similarities to make them work in their paper more easily because they know the structure of an article, for example. Then the teacher asks students to reflect on the activities done, identify their problems, and try to find solution by discussing with the teacher, their classmates, or find from other sources. So we encourage the students to reflect on the activities done. Yeah. We encourage students, for example, discuss with their classmates or the teacher if the classmate cannot answer or have similar problems, and make them active to find from other sources. Next, students decide a research topic. Yeah. The teacher asks them to discuss with their friends what topic they like and find reading resources for the topics. The next, arranging and planning. Students find information from related reading resources from their writing topic, communicate with their friends or the teacher. Then students organize time to finish the task, have a notebook or organizer. Next, students set the goals and objective. Yeah, so they have to, for example, in 3 months, I have to finish my articles, for example, or maybe another student believe that they can finish in 2 months. Yeah, and then the objective, the specific objective. First, I have to finish my background of the paper, for example. Yeah, so they try to set the goals and the objectives of their writing. Next, students try to make outline of the research paper. Yeah, so they make the outline first. What should they read? What should they write on the introduction, for example? What the background of the study should consist of, for example. Yeah. So the student make the outline for the research paper. Next, students try to write their research paper and identifying the purpose of each part of their research paper and try to fulfill it. The last, evaluating. Students monitor their writing draft, discuss with classmates or the teacher. Students revise and edit the writing draft. Yeah, after they finish the draft and discussing with classmates or the teacher for advice, student can revise and edit the writing draft. Students share their research paper to their classmates and the teacher and present it. So from the presentation of their writing of their paper, classmates and teacher can give some comments so that they have something to think, to revise, they have some knowledge from the comments both from classmates and teacher. Then after that, student revise the writing draft based on comments from classmates and the teacher. After they finish revising the writing draft, the students can complete the task and self-evaluate, by checking the outcomes of their performance, the task accuracy and completeness, the language use, the strategy use, and the capability of finishing the task. Okay, so based on that, students can try to make a better paper, a better research proposal by actively think about what they write. Of course, it is not an easy task. The student cannot do it in a fast way, because writing is a process. Student need to think. If they finish, maybe they can go from the beginning part of their paper and find maybe there are still some that they have to revise, and then go to the another part after they can make a paper that is considered as a good paper. Thank you.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Mama Cristiana Innocente. Thank you, Ma'am, for taking your time preparing for us such an extraordinary, wonderful presentation.
Thank
It
you.
was awesome.
Thank
And
you, sir.
your discussion on the metacognitive strategies among our children is so timely and relevant. All right, and it keeps
Yes.
on broadening our horizon. Okay, now we came to realize that before our students can actually engage in research writing, and then something must be done about their metacognitive strategies for them to become an effective research writer.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
true.
and then as much as I can remember in my high school days, it has something to do with self questioning. Okay, for you to at least engage your thinking in what you are actually referring as metacognitive strategies. It's a sort of self questioning whether you're right or wrong. How are you going to start your job? What to be the possible consequence, and of course you have to do a sort of meditation and
Yeah.
reflection.
So
All
they
right.
have to be active thinking.
Yes, no wonder our students in secondary education, like what we have here in the Philippines in senior high school, 30% of their subjects are on research writing skills. All right, because I think that's a way of getting our students prepared that when they reach college, then they can now come up with their own research. But of course, you can actually do research when you have this proper way of using your metacognitive strategies. All right, because when you say research, you're actually dealing with a problem. So how can you
Yes.
deal with the problem if I mean, your metacognitive strategies are not that functioning well, so to speak. So again, thank you so much, Mom, for that commendable job. And again, we would like to thank you for such a very, a remarkable presentation. And we are looking forward to meeting you again in the next webinar in the days to
Thank you,
come.
sir. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. We're done with our second speaker. And before we proceed with our third speaker, allow us to congratulate. Uh, wait. Alexander Gafford Cortez. Okay. IGP will be giving a special gift because they managed or they noticed your perfect attendance. Okay. IGP was able to notice that the series of seminars that they're conducting, then you are always on deck. Okay, so for that reason, they will be giving you, IGP will be awarding you a lifetime membership certificate. So can we give round of applause to Sir Alexander Cortez? Okay, that's the beauty of having a perfect attendance for the series of seminars that IGP is conducting. IGP is so generous that if you actually do participate in their series of webinars, and then they will be giving you a gift, like providing you a certificate of lifetime membership. And that's a rare opportunity. Not everyone has given a chance like that. So again, congratulations, Sir Curtis. Okay, so before we finally call on our third speaker for tonight's webinar, again, let's just check if our third speaker can actually manage to present herself on the screen. Okay. Oh my.
Terrible now. Or I don't know. You are hearing me or not? You can hear me or not? But with the passage of the time, I think it will get better. So I must start with it. Can anyone tell me you can hear me?
Okay. I think uh, I don't think with our live audience if they can hear you clearly, but in my case, I can hear you. Not that totally perfect. There is a bit sharpness when you keep on talking, but
Yeah.
yeah, despite of that, allow me first to introduce to you. Okay, let's cross the bridge when we get there. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we now finally come to our third speaker for tonight's webinar. All right. Our third speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is a research scholar at Lahore College for Women University and serving as a visiting lecturer in University of Education and also serving in Allama Iqbal Open University as a workshop resource person. She is also a member of EduCloud Committee as a regional officer, and she's pretty much involved in writing different articles and published an authentic research on adolescent stress. Currently, our third speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is working with W or YWADAP or YWADAP and its mission of eradicating drug abuse among the youth. So, ladies and gentlemen, help us welcome our third speaker for tonight's webinar, Mom Ikra Akram, on the screen.
Thank you so much for inviting me here and providing me the platform to speak the aspects of teaching of English as a foreign language with you. So I must talk about the lexical approach. I'm considering it now for teaching it in this pandemic situation or I will talk about this and discuss with you the different aspects of the lexical approach. So, before discussing the lexical approach, we must go through the theoretical background of the lexical approach. What the proponents of the lexical approach was considering it and named it with the different terms. The different proponents use the different terms for the lexical approach. As Corder used the hollow phrases in the 1973, and further in the 1974, Hakuta named it as the prefabricated patterns, and in 1979, the Keller sees it in the terms of the gambits. Further, when we go further, the Peters in 1983 named it as speech formulas. In 1990s, the Dave Wills named it as the lexical syllabus, and further, when we go forward, in 1992, the Dave Wills named it the Dame Wills and the Nettinger and De Carey named it as the lexical phrases and the language teaching. In 1993, Mitchell Lewis finally called it as the lexical approach. So today we will discuss about the lexical approach. Before discussing that, we will see the viewpoint of the language. What is the language? The language consists not of the traditional grammar and vocabulary, but often multi-word prefabricated chunks, according to the Mitchell Lewis. Mitchell Lewis also said that the essential idea is that fluency is based on the acquisition of fixed and semi-fixed prefabricated items which are available as the foundation for any linguistic novelty or creativity. Moreover, it refers to the belief that the building blocks of language learning and the communication are not grammar, function, or notion, or some other unit but lexis. Moreover, he said that the lexical approach students should learn chunks of language. The lexical approach focuses on the chunks of the language. We will discuss what is the chunks and how many times we have to repeat that, how many exposures we could have of the language chunks. They focuses on the language chunks, and moreover, since language is made up of collocations, idioms, and fixed phrases. When we go further about the lexical approach is a method of teaching foreign language. As in the Pakistan, we are teaching English as the second language. The Urdu is our first language, and the English, which we are
Hello, hello,
teaching in
hello,
our...
hello, hello, ma'am.
Hello,
Yeah, can you hear me?
hello.
Yeah, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Okay, ma'am.
and hopefully you guys can hear me also.
Yeah, now we can hear you, ma'am. Just do cooperate with ma'am Christiana because she is presenting your slide. So I think is something mismatch with your presenting and slide management. So just do cooperate with ma'am Christiana and both. Which
Can
slide
I
you are
do it
at?
without a presentation?
Yeah, yeah. Now fix slide first. Then after that you have now which slide? Just fix the which slide you are now, ma'am Christiana. Just move to the next slide.
Yeah. Yeah, the lexical approach. I am talking about the, I think so, third
This
slide or fourth. The lexical
this,
approach.
this one, the viewpoint of language.
I have done with the languages. I am on the fourth slide. I am
Okay,
on the fourth.
this one, right? Yeah, the lexical approach. So,
Uh,
ma'am Ikra, when you move to the next slide, then just ask to ma'am Christiana, just can you move to the next slide? Then ma'am Christiana will change the slide.
okay,
Okay, ma'am.
sure.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry for
Sure.
interruption. Sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. What about the, then we are talking about the lexical approach. What is the lexical approach? Is the method of the teaching the foreign language. It's an important part of learning. A language consists of being able to understand and produce produce the lexical phrases as chunks which can be adapted, combined, and recombined to fulfill different functions or purposes. The lexical approach concentrates on developing learners' proficiency with lexes or words and words combination. Lexis plays the central role. Alternative approach to the traditional grammatical approaches. We are having the chunks, which are helping us in the fluency in reality. We are having the minimal pairs. We use lexical units and the collocations also while using the lexical approach. The words which we are using as to demonstrate to our learners, we could preferably we could expose them. We could use the exposure of the lexical chunks for the 17 exposures. Lexical chunk, when we are talking about the lexical approach, the lexical approach is the lexical approach consists of the grammaticized lexis or lexicalized grammar. In other words, lexis is a central in creating manner demonstrating grammar through a play role through our we can demonstrate the lexical approach through the role playing also. Can Miss Christina, can you move the slide further? Miss Christina, can you move the slide? Then going further towards the lexical approach, when we talked about the lexical approach, what are the main features of the lexical approach? In the main features, we are having the lexes, we are having the chunks, we are having the collocations also. While talking about the lexes, rather than grammar, plays a primary role in the acquisition of the language. Lexes is not just vocabulary. When we talked about the chunks, chunks are the representative of a significant proportion of a native speakers or the spoken and written outputs. Therefore, these chunks of languages are vital for fluent production. When we are talking about the when we talked about the nature of the lexis, for this approach, for the lexis approach, vocabulary has a central role in linguistic description. This approach establishes that the centrality of lexicon to language structure and the importance of lexical units or chunks that are learned and used as single item. The single item that we are using as the chunks, that is lexical units. Further discussing the lexical units, there is a distinction between the vocabulary traditionally thought to be constituted of single item and lexis, which includes not only the single words but also the words combinations that we store in our mental lexicon. While talking about the lexical aspects, we should talk about the objective of the lexical approach. When we're talking about the lexical objective of the lexical approach, the objective of the lexical approach is to understand and to consolidate learning material based on lexical rather than the grammatical principles. We are going when we are using the lexical approach, we are comprehending and focusing on the most common lexical words together with the lexical patterns and accesses. Then we go further. When we go further towards the aspects of the lexical approach, we are having the words, idioms, smileys, binomials, trinomials, connectives, collocations, polywords, fixed expressions, conversational gambits, sentence frames, or heads. When we are talking about the words, we are having a single word, as we are having the book or pen. Then we are having the idioms or the phrases. We have the example like the dead dunk, to run up a bill, as old as hill. When we are talking about the binomials, we are having the example of a clean and tidy, back to front. Trinomials, when we are talking about the trinomials, we are having the examples. We can took the example of the cool, calm, and collected as well. While talking about the connectives, connectives are the words that are making the connection between the words. We are having the example like the finally, or to conclude, or to explore, or to describe. When talking about the collocations, we will further discuss it more about it, and explore it more. While talking about the collocations, having the example of the community services, do a job, my hair, my work, make bed, promise, coffee, a meal. Or we could have the polywords, we could have the fixed expression, that as we are having the examples of them. We could use the conversational gambits. We could say that, guess what, assume that. Or when talking about the sentence frames or heads, we could say that the problem is, that is all very well, but these are the examples which we are using as the Lexis examples. Then we move further. What is the role of the collocation in the lexical approach? While talking about the collocation are the regular use of the words. The words which we are using are regularly together. As we can say that, do my hair, the cooking, we are waking, it's my work, it's my play. While talking about the collocations might be the words that are describing the place or found together in a predictable patterns. Examples range from two words combinations. These language patterns comprise much of speech and writings. Collocations are the words that sound right together, even though there is no grammatical reason they should be used together. We could say that, gin and tonic, but never tonic and gin. But high probability, but good chance. Completely useless, but entirely useless. Then we move next. When we are talking about the lexical approach, as we discussed before, we while talking about the lexical approach, we discussed the binomials, polymers, collocations, and then we move further towards the idioms. Idioms are the phrases that express something entirely different than what their literal meaning suggests. As the example of the idiom, we are having to pull someone's legs to get cold feet, to cut the chase, and further we are having too many idioms we are using in our daily routines as well. Then we move further. Uh, then we move further towards the fixed phrases. While talking about the fixed phrases are commonly used expressions like to close eyes, to get the impressions larger than life, and more and more expressions we are having. We are similarly we are using our expressions at this time. What I am saying, you are percepting and writing what you are percepting, my words in your mind, what you are percepting about me, what you are percepting about my words, what you are percepting about my presentation slides as well. uh, those expressions what we are observing or relating to our routine life, that is fixed phrases to talked about the routine life. Then going towards the next slide. Then moving towards the next slide, we will talk about the designing for language teaching and learning. We will while designing the language and the teaching, while talking about the teaching learning situation, the most important thing, I think the most important thing is our objective, what we are going to achieve, what we are going to do is our main thing. We must know what we are going to achieve, what we are going to work, for which purpose we should have to struggle for. Firstly, we should select the objective, then we goes towards the syllabus. Then that we could say that we will goes towards the content. When we are selecting the content for the students, we must consider the cognitive, social, emotional, psychomotor, and the affective abilities of the students as well. While talking about the syllabus, we must consider the syllabus according to the cognition and the intellect of the students. Then we structure the activities. Then we will talk about the role of the teacher. What role should be the teacher plays while designing the activities and organizing the lexical approach. Then we will talk about the role of the learner, what role a student should play while learning in the specific context. Then we will talk about the materials, which material or resources we should use while designing the lexical approach for the student. So we will move towards the just then moving towards the teaching objectives. To understand and teaching objectives are the our objectives are the teaching objectives are the statements that are describing what we are going to do, that make us understand and consolidate learning material based on lexical rather than grammatical principles, that comprehend the most common lexical words together with the lexical patterns and assesses. Then we move further. Then we move further with the syllabus. Then we move further with the syllabus. The lexical syllabus not only subsumes a structural syllabus, it also includes how the structures which make up syllabus should be exemplified. A lexical syllabus provides a discussion of some of the major issues in the language teaching methodology. Lexical syllabus targets how texts are used in the classrooms, how we are using our targeted language in our daily routines, in our daily routine language. While talking about the lexical approach, when we are talking about the lexical approach to the working in the central to the lexical approach is a focus on teaching real English and a shift away from the artificial language found in ELT textbooks and which is drawn from the intuition of textbook designers. In fact, the approach contends that the language course books teach is not what people really say, That is why it is urgent to avoid distorting the language with coarse book writers' intuitions and access the authentic language by corpora. A large amount of written and sometimes spoken material collected to show the state of a language. Well, we are talking about the second language, so we will move further. We'll discuss it at the last, moreover, and with the we will move further towards the learning activities. While talking about the learning activities, teachers, what should be the teacher's aim while designing the learning activities? While designing the learning activities, the it's the most important thing when we are implementing our objectives, our content, and our methodology. We are implementing all these things through the learning activities. While designing the learning activities, a teacher should consider the class time according to the confined particular learning strategies dealing with unknown lexical items and the structures. Teacher can struggle for students' consciousness and lexical patterns benefits. The student should be relaxed for fear of causing confusions to the learner's lexicon. Then we move further. Then we move further towards the role of the teacher and the role of the learner. While talking about the role of the teacher, teacher is the major source of the learning input, while the learners are the knower. Learners are giving the idea of the learners are discoverers. They are discoverers. They are working to expose the things. They are learning. We could say that it could might match up with the project based learning, or we could say that it could be the experiments that the learners could expose different things, different ideas, different vocabularies on their own. While talking about the role of the teacher, teacher is the organizing technological system and creating environment to help effectively learners. And while talking about the learner's role, on the other hand, they are the data analyst. They are analyzing the data what the teacher is organizing through the technological systems and the environment with which the teacher creates for the students. When we goes towards the role of the teacher is teacher's methodology in the classroom. Teacher establishes the certain methodology and the learning activities for the students. As we talked later about, the teacher is the organizer, basic organizer is the teacher. When we move towards the learners, on the learners end, they provide the participation with the listening, noticing, and the reflecting. Then, while talking about the role of the teacher, teacher helps the learners to manage their own learning, and the students discover what the teacher is going to demonstrate them and to instruct them. Then we move further. Then we move further towards the material and teaching resources. About the when we are talking about the materials and the teaching resources, we have four types. We could use the course packages, concordance. We could secondly we could use the collection of vocabulary, teaching activities. Different in these days is the technology based era. We have different many types of different teaching activities here. Then we could use the printout versions of computer corpora. We could use the collection of packaged in text formats. We could use the programs and the attached data sets. Then we'll talk about the procedure. What is the procedure we should use while using the lexical approach? On the basis of the implemented documents and activities, procedural sequences changed. Classroom procedures generally include followings: attracting students' attention to lexical collocations, increasing students' retention. For this, we could make the teaching strategies individualized. We could use the individualized collocations. We could make the students aware of the collocations. We could extend what students already know, but students already know about the collocations, about the we could use the previous knowledge of the learners. We could store the collocations so the encouraging students to keep. We could use the lexical notebook. We could use many more strategies here. We are having while using the lexical approach. We have the different principles of the lexical approach as well. While talking about the lexical, we could use the lexical chunks as well. Lexical chunks is a group of words that are commonly found together. Lexical chunks includes collocations, but these usually just involves content words, not grammars. We could enhance the students learning through the lexical skills. We could while talking about the lexical procedure, we are demonstrating different words towards to the learners to our learners. We are demonstrating all these vocabularies. So the words are usually learned often after they appear several times. In fact, researchers estimate that it could take as many as 17 exposures for a student to learn a new word. Repeated exposures could be in the same lesson or passage, but the exposure will be most effective if they appear over an extended period of time. Then we move further. Then we move further towards the proposal from word Woolard. While talking about the Woolard proposed that revising the course book to see collocation and practicing making use of activities developing the students' realization to collocations. Then we move further towards the proposal from Hill. What Then we move further towards the Hill said that we should teach the collocation individualized, so the individualized instructions. We should provide students to aware the collocations, giving the knowledge of collocations and adding them to appropriate non-words. We should support students to keep a lexical notebook. We should teach our students through the awareness, through their previous knowledge, through using their previous knowledge, and through using their enhanced exposure, and to use the individualized instructions to enhance their own learning. Then we go further towards the conclusion. And the last I must conclude that this approach characterization still remains incomplete. It is still only an opinion. Teachers should use more exercises for raising students' mindfulness rather than explaining lengthily. It has many advantages and disadvantages as well. While using the lexical approach, while the lexical approach can be a quick way for students to pick up the phrases, it doesn't foster much creativity. It can leave the negative side effects of limiting people's responses to say fixed phrases because they don't have to build responses. They don't need to learn the entire categories of languages. Moreover, the lexical approach provides the learners with the lots of vocabulary through the collocations, through the languages, through the binomials. As the Zimmerman suggests that the work of Sinclair, Nettinger, and Lewis represents a significant radical and pedagogical shift from the past. They have claimed that the revived an interest in a central role for accurate language description. Second, they challenged the traditional view of word boundaries, emphasizing the language learners need to perceive and use patterns of languages and collocations. Most significant is the underlying claim that language production is not a syntactic rule governed process, but is instead the retrieval of larger phrases units from memory. Nevertheless, implementing a lexical approach in the classroom does not lead to radical methodological changes. Rather, it involves a change in the teacher's mindset. Most important, the language activity is consistent with the lexical approach, must be directed towards naturally occurring language and towards raising learners' awareness of the lexical nature of the language. Thank you, that's all. I think I have concluded it, and thank you so much for providing me this platform and giving me the chance to speak here.
All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Our third speaker, Ma'am Ikra Akram. Ma'am, we cannot thank you enough for that very inspiring, informative, and interesting presentation you gave tonight. And so, for that reason, on behalf of IGP, we would like to express our hearty thanks and appreciation for that commendable job. All right. No wonder you're a learner because by the name itself, Ikra, that for everybody's information, Ikra is an Arabic term which means to read. That is the first letter of, first word of the verse that's that was first revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ikra meaning read. All right, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we would like to thank you personally, Ma'am Ikra, for spending your time with us and share your knowledge and thoughts about teaching English as a second or foreign language. All right. I'm so impressed with your presentation on the lexical strategies because this is a way of, improving the students, enhancing their, their vocabulary and even improving their, what do you call this? Improving their grammar in the long run. And thank you for emphasizing the importance of those lexical strategies when it comes to, the variation of how the word is being formed, like the idiomatic expression, and then you have the collocations, everything, and so on and so forth. All right. Again, thank you, ma'am. We're looking forward to hearing from you again in the next webinar in the days to come. Thank you. All right. So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. At this juncture, we will now proceed to the one of the most highlight activities of this webinar. It's going to be the conduct of the online quiz competition. All right. If you observe, you have already the questions on your screen. It keeps on popping as we go along with our webinar. All right. And our quiz competition for tonight was made possible by slido.com. So shout out to slido.com. Okay, so you have the code on the screen, that's 002200. Okay, you have to make use of that for you to get access to our quiz online competition. All right, so you have your name on the screen. It's being popped up. Okay, that's a manifestation of those live audience who keep on participating for tonight's quiz competition. So if you will notice, you have your name on the screen. It keeps on popping up. All right, so meaning to say, Slido is now processing, okay, electronically the results of the answers that you have submitted already. I'm sure I got it right. So in just a few seconds, all right, we will try to find out who got the correct answer, who got the correct answer the most. Okay, so let's start with question number one. Question number one, it says, a global language is a language that is learned and spoken internationally used by people who have no native language in common, used by international organization, or all of the above? Which do you think is the correct answer? Okay, there you go. Time is up. And 66% of the live audience says or said all of the above. And let's find out which one is the correct answer. All right. Yes, the correct answer is all of the above. Majority of the respondents, that's 66%, got the correct answer. Congratulations, guys. Okay, so we have Kinit Samya. Okay, and there you go. So for the second question, what advantages does CLT have over other approaches to second language teaching? Focus on real life communication skills, focus on grammatical accuracy, focus on pronunciation and speaking, or focus on the correct use of words and idioms. All right. So idiom, the slido.com is now processing your submitted answers. 56 of the respondents, or majority of them, said focus on real life communication skills, but we still have to find out which one is really the correct answer. All right, there you go. Congratulations again. Focus on real life, all right, communication. So there you go. We have a tie on the screen. We have Amancio Barrister. Okay, let's check that one later on. For the third question, explanations during English language lessons should not be clear, concise, and graded to the learner's level. Other option would be checked with concept checking questions. Other option is scaffolded using visuals, and long and detailed. Which do you think is the correct answer? According to our live audience, majority of them, it's long and detailed. But let's find out if they are correct. Yes, they are correct. Again, congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. You are doing a good job, you know? All right, so, okay, we have those names on the screen who got a perfect score. Now, next question is, what are factors affecting second language learning? Aptitude, personal learning history, or both? That's A and B. All right. What are factors affecting second language learning? Aptitude, personal learning history, or both? All right. Majority of the live audience or participants says both. Both. And the correct answer is, that's A and B. That's both. All right. Again, congratulations. 92% of our live audience got the correct answer. Okay, so we have a tie score on the screen, but of course, what will matter is the least amount of time that you spend in answering the question. For the fifth question, or third or fifth, which country feels most threatened by the English language? Germany, France, Norway, Spain. What do you think? Which country? All right, majority of the respondents, that's 37%, said it's Spain. But the correct answer is, oh no, it's France. 16% of our live audience or participants got the correct answer. That's France. All right. Let's find out who's the leading participants. We have, is that LS or IS? All right. Next question, that's number 6. The concept of the English language is a global means of communication. People will change the language and make it different. A mix of many other languages. The English language is a global means of communication, language the immigrants used to speak. All right. So 91% of the respondents said the English language is a global means of communication, and that's the correct answer. All right, so congratulations, you get a correct answer. Okay, we have the leading score from LS and Melanie Bembo. Okay, for the seventh question, how many countries use English as their official language? 120 sovereign states, 54 sovereign states, 67 sovereign states, and or 95 sovereign states. Okay, just come up with a an educated guess. This is quite a tough question. Majority of the respondents, the participants said 120 sovereign states. Unfortunately, the correct answer is 54 sovereign states. All right. 18% of our participants or attendants got the correct answer. And so let's find out who is the leading score. We have okay, Nawang Latham. Okay, actually, they have a tie score. Next question: how many people speak language as their first language? 220 million. These are the options: 220 million, 330 million, 500 million, or 430 million. Just think which one is the closest figure. All right. According to our live audience, it's 220 million. Majority of them said it's 220 million. Unfortunately, guys, the correct answer is 430 million. All right. 17% of our participants got the correct answer. So we have a tie on the screen, tie score on the screen. But of course, we have to consider the least amount of time that you spend in answering those questions. Second to the last question, how is task-based language teaching similar to PPP? Is it both focus on language and provide practice and communication opportunities, or both focus more on communication opportunities than language form? All right, majority of our participants said both focus on language and provide practice of communication opportunities. Which one is the correct answer? Let's find out. Slido, show us the correct answer. It's both focus on language and provide practice and communication opportunities. So thankful, we're grateful that 85% or majority of our participants got the correct answer. Okay, so let's now proceed to one last question. We have the result of the score on the screen. Okay. Last but not the least question, what is current advice when it comes to teaching English to newly arrived twins? Is that right? Teach English in English, or use the twins L want to teach them English, or make use of all the twins language skills from the start? 15% or 51 rather, 51% of the participants said make use of all the twins language and skills from the start. And Slido.com says it's make use of all the twins language skills from the start is the correct answer. So again, we're so glad that majority of the respondents got the correct answer. Okay, so we have the final result on the screen. Congratulations to, if you will notice, we have a tie score. 5 of our live audience participants got a tie score. 3 of them will be provided with certificate of recognition from IGP. All right. The basis for ranking your score is on the least amount of time that you spent in answering the question. If you see who's on the number 1, he or she was able to answer those questions in just a matter of 1 minute and 44 seconds, followed by Consuelo Barnaquia, okay, with 2 minutes and 2 seconds. So congratulations, guys. We are so impressed with your engagement, all right? Live engagement in our quiz competition for tonight's webinar. Congratulations, you can actually claim your certificate at the end of this seminar. Certificate link will be provided in the comment section below. You try to find that one out. And then upon clicking, you'll be directed to the landing page where you can download your certificates at the end of this seminar. All right, so again, congratulations to the 3 winners. Kindly please type your complete name, all right? Or get in touch with our IGP staff for the instructions on how are you going to claim your certificates. And as I was saying earlier, the link is actually provided in the comment section below, all right? And if you're having difficulty in accessing the link, better yet, go and visit IGP's website. That's www.eduigp.com. All right. And so, again, congratulations, guys, for doing such a great job. All right. And so I think that's all for our online quiz competition. And we will now proceed to another highlights of this webinar, and that's gonna be the quiz. Sorry for that. Question and answer segment. All right, where our live audience will be given a chance to ask their questions, and will be posted on the screen. And our speakers will have a chance to read your questions on the screen, and they will be providing the answer whenever possible. So guys, kindly please do prepare your questions by typing them on the comment section below. And we also have to remind you that in typing your questions, it would be nice, it would be better if you indicate the name of the speaker that you would like to address your question. All right? So keep on writing your question, guys. Okay, this is a rare opportunity for you to ask questions from our international speakers who actually delivered a lecture on the topic that is very much relatable among our professionals nowadays, that is teaching English as a second or foreign language. All right. So again, congratulations to Nawang Lat. I'm sorry, but I'm having difficulty in reading this name. I hope I got it right. Nawang Latform. Okay, so there you go. All right, so we have to call back our three. Ma'am Ikra and Sir Nasrullah. All right, there you go. Sir Nasrullah is back. And so we have to check if Ma'am Ikra will still be joining us for the question and answer portion of this webinar. Again, I have to remind everyone to please prepare your question by typing them on the comment section below. And also, can you please share us your thoughts by leaving us comments and anything that you would like to say, anything that you feel about tonight's webinar. Can you please leave us a comments or your thoughts on the comment section below? All right. Okay, so I think we have to start with the first question. Okay. Despite of Ma'am Ikra not appearing on the screen, because basically she's still having a problem with internet connectivity. I think our speakers are also experiencing, other speakers are also experiencing the same. Okay, are we finally back? Ma'am Ikra is finally here. All right. Okay, so now let's proceed with the question from our live audience. Okay, from Jemris Sol. All right. Okay, his question is addressed to Sir Nasrullah. Okay, Sir Nasrullah. The question is, what strategies would be effective to handle mixed ability students in learning English as a foreign language? EFL teacher working in Vietnam from Philippines. All right. So our the one who posed the question is from Philippines, who is now currently working in Vietnam. That's how I understand. Okay. What strategies would be effective to handle mixed ability students in learning
Okay.
English language as a foreign language? Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for the question from teacher working in Vietnam,
Jemris Sol.
Jim Resolve. Actually, the intelligence of the student is different with other countries. So we must know how the children learn in round, and the parent must be active, interactive with the babies, the first one, and in other way, the media of round of the children will be more interesting for the babies to study about the language. So I think uh, we make more practice with our interactive with the children, because if more interactive with children, the children will be more uh, get intelligence. And then uh, as the strategy, we know the receptive and expressive language development, because the receptive and the expressive language development are different. When we try to make strategies for the receptive, we must know about the student, about a children, about the student in in our in our life. It means that we must know about the student ability, or we must know about the children ability, because the receptive language involves the ability to understand message being the sent by another individual through by the process communication. So uh, if we know about the ability of the children, we easy to learn, to teach the student or the children learn language. But uh, in expressive language or expressive language development, uh, refers to the ability to express one through the feelings. So it's mean that, as I said in the presentation, the differences in the legend, like gift kit, it's more interactive, and we must know about the children need and the children wishes, or the children want. I think it is the easy way to understanding, to make a student more have uh, skill about to learn language. I think that's all our answering.
All right, there you go, sir. Thank you for your insightful answer for that question provided given by our live audience. And we have another one, this time from Oreo Teresa. Okay, this one is addressed to Madam Christina. The question says, how do we deal with children of special needs when it comes to sound, word, and sentence recognition?
Okay. Yeah, I will try to answer that. Actually, it is not my part. Okay, I will try to answer that. Yeah, related to children with special needs, of course, there is a special treatment, yeah, for this kind of children, yeah, especially related to sound, word, and sentence recognition. We can give them some specific practice or exercises in stages, yeah, maybe from the sound first, yeah, and then words, and then sentence recognitions. Maybe this kind of special children will learn more slowly than the normal ones. So we can treat them with some sounds, word, and sentence recognition with some examples that related or suitable for their age. Thank you. Maybe Pak Anas maybe want to add related to this.
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you, ma'am, for your answer. And despite of not being part of your slides, I think that should have been addressed to Sir Nasrullah. Sir Nasrullah, would you like to say something? That's a part of your, I think, your slide presentation. Sir Nasrullah, would you like to? Okay, so let's
Yeah.
proceed with the next question from MW. Okay. Okay. From Michelle Onciano L. Okay. She would like to address the question to any of you guys. Her question says, how could we possibly teach English as a second or foreign language in the most challenging way, especially in this time of pandemic? I think this is a timely and relevant question. How could we possibly teach English as a second or foreign language in this most challenging time?
May I try to answer? Okay, may I try to
Are we all
answer?
freezing right now? I think we're having a slow connection. Okay. Sir Nazrullah, would you like to say something about the, or
Yeah.
can we ask Ma'am Ikra? Ma'am Ikra, are you still there? Okay. Okay, Ma'am Ikra, are you still there? Do you have a take on the question provided by one of our attendees? Okay, so okay. Okay, so now let's proceed with the next question, this time from Tess Talavera. Good evening. And this is going out to Ma'am Christina. Is metacognitive limited to students who are doing research, work, or dissertations? Thank you.
Okay. May I try to answer? Yeah. Okay. Can you hear my voice?
Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you
Very,
clearly.
very
Okay.
clearly, very
Yeah.
clearly.
Metacognitive strategies is not limited for students who are writing their research work or dissertation. It can be applied to any language skills. It can be applied for any levels. Elementary school students can apply metacognitive strategies. Senior high schools, students at universities, or any student can apply metacognitive strategies because this is a good strategy that can be taught to students from beginners until universities. Even students who are studying a very simple course, especially for difficult course, they need to apply metacognitive strategies. So they need to prepare, they need to plan, and then monitor and evaluate their progress. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Mom Christina, for that very profound answer. Okay. Another question, this time from Jeneline Ibuenga. Good evening. This question is for, again, Mom Christina. Is metacognition refers to higher order thinking that involves active awareness and control over the cognitive process engaged in learning?
Yes,
How do you
your state.
contextualize that question? Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, metacognition is higher order thinking skill. Yeah, so it is related to a critical thinking skill. So the students should try, yeah, to think about, especially about the problems they have when they do something. Yeah, they can start from the small problem to the bigger one to find the solution. That's the simple example that I can give.
All right. Thank you, ma'am, for answering that question. All right. So, do we have other question on the screen? Let's find out. Okay. Could that be all for the questions from our live audience? Do we still have other questions from our attendees? All right. Now, if you take a closer look at the screen, you would see the website of Edu IGP or the IGP. That is, if you are having difficulty in accessing the link certificates, okay, so better yet, go to the IGP website. And also, we would like to invite everyone here for our next or upcoming webinar, okay. The topic is effective teaching strategies, and that will take place on June 24, 2021. We have invited speakers all from Indonesia. We have Dwai Denda Sari and Dr. Nurul Fadila and Dr. Nur Aini, SPD MPD. All right. So again, we would like to invite everyone to please join us for the upcoming webinar. That's Effective Teaching Strategies, happening on June 24, 2021. All right. And then also on June 26, 2021, another webinar will be conducted. Okay. The topic is on research on English language teaching and learning. And also, we managed to invite 3 speakers, again from Indonesia. Okay, so they will be sharing their thoughts and ideas on that particular topic. And on June 28th, another webinar will be conducted, and the topic is Way of Success from Classroom to Workplace. This is quite interesting. All right. We also invited 3 speakers from Luxembourg, from Philippines, and from India to shed light on the issue on the way of success from classroom to workplace. All right. So those are the series of webinars that are in a row. And then we also have another one on July 4th, 2021. We'll be staging a webinar on the different modalities and assessment tools in teaching math. All right, so we invited 3 speakers all the way from my country, the Philippines. Okay, we have Sir Tabano Redentor Bulanadi, Ma'am Wela Carino, and Sir Sapway Dani Tolinada, all from the Philippines. All right. And then on July 6, 2021, all right, we have a webinar on building bridges to the new normal. All right. And we also invited 3 speakers, all from Lebanon. All right. We have Sir Raifa Juma, Mom Natasha Habli, and Mom Nadia Shams, all the way from Lebanon. Okay, that's building bridges to the new normal, happening on July 6, 2021. So please be, okay, so we have another one on July 10, okay, we have a webinar on applied research and action research. I think this is quite interesting also. And we have invited 2 speakers, again, all the way from Philippines. All right. We have Dr. Clarence Hakuman, okay, and Dr. Arnold Alvaro to speak on the topic applied research and action research. That's going to be on July 10. And on July 14, okay, webinar on failure is, I cannot read. It's getting lost on the screen. All right, so there you go. You can just check IGP's website for the list of webinars that's on pipeline, and you can have yourself enrolled for you to get a chance, or to get a chance to be, or I would say to get a chance, for you to get a chance to get a certificate, rather. What's happening to me? All right. So I think that's all for our webinar tonight. Again, we would like to, on behalf of, on July 20, 2021, okay, we'll be having a webinar on global impact of tourism. Okay, we also invited 2 speakers all the way from Philippines. We have Ma'am Concepcion Armendoza and Maria Teresa and Bernabe. All right. That's global impact of tourism. And on July 22, all right, we have another set of webinar. It's entitled Educators Leadership Skills. Okay, that's on July 22. And we have invited Sir Victorio Crescentelio Juan and Sir John Wesley P. Valdez, all the way from the Philippines. So proud to be a Filipino. And then on July 24, all right, a webinar on scientific research writing and reviewing will be conducted. And we also invited 2 speakers like Sir Felix Arcelia Jr. and Sir Rix Lim, all the way from also the Philippines. All right. So do we have more? Okay, on July 26, another webinar will be staged, and the topic is Magic of Logic. All right, it has something to do with philosophy, I guess. And we have invited Dr. Cesar R. Cairo and Sir Paul Gary P. Abelio, all the way from the Philippines also. All right. So please be guided with the schedule of our upcoming webinars. And all right, on July 28, 2021 is a webinar on special topics in general mathematics. All right. So this is highly recommended for mathematics teacher. We managed to invite Ma'am Karen Dahay Karman also. And on August 7th, all right, we have, what's this one? attending optimism or uh, and research-based practices education. All right, it's going to be on August 7th, and the speakers are also from the Philippines. We have Mr. Alberto M. Dizon, Miss Jasmine Dizon, and Mr. Daniel Dizon. Oh, they have different, or maybe similar family name. I wonder if they are brothers and sisters. Okay, and on August 25, okay, another webinar will be staged, all right? And the topic is on social emotional teaching and learning management, all right? And so we have invited speaker from Greece in the name of Rania Lampu, and from India, Sir Muhammad Zubair, and from Georgia, we have Mam Karina Karitunashivle. I hope I got it right. All right. And on September 7, okay, topic on ICT issues in everywhere is going to be our webinar on September 7. And we also invited 3 speakers all the way from India. We have Mam Nidhi Jain or Nahain, Sir Yogesh Sonawani, and Mam Harsha Chavan, all from India, all right, to speak on ICT issues. All right, so here we go, the certificates. So you can have that one if you actually log in or registered. For those newcomers, the first thing we need to do is you have to register yourself. Okay, so once you have registered, and then you simply log in to get your certificate and to avail for those certificate of membership. Okay, for those who wish to avail of the certificate of membership, you simply contact IGP's FB page. Okay, you can just chat them. You can chat with them and tell them that you wish to be a member of IGP. Okay, you can also invite your friends to be part of IGP so that we can actually expand and grow our community group. All right, so the IGP will be giving out certificates of membership. All right, so at this juncture, again, we would like to express on behalf of IGP our hearty thanks and appreciation to all of our speakers like Dr. Christiana, Sir Nasrullah, and Mom Ekra for spending your time with us and share your profound knowledge and wisdom on teaching English as a second or foreign language. We cannot thank you enough for spending your time with us. We know for a fact that you are so busy, but you managed to take your time off and join us for tonight's webinar. Again, thank you so much for the time you have spent with us. Okay, it's really a pleasure having you here, guys. All right, and also we would like to extend our thanks to all our live audience who keeps on participating from the start down to the end of this webinar, and for their patience, all right, for staying that long time. All right, and I guess that concludes our tonight's webinar. All is well that ends well, and let's call it a night or let's call it a day. This has been Gafor in Panimbang, your host for the next webinar, saying thank you so much for your active participation and for joining us for tonight's webinar. I hope everybody is well and have a good night sleep. Again, thank you for your participation. And that ends our